welcome to my channel, and today I'm going to be doing the A to Z Bookish Survey. So this is basically questions starting with the first letter of the alphabet. Once I find out who did the original, I will link it down below, but I just saw this on Twitter and I thought I would give it a go. So this is probably going to be a long one, so we might as well just get started. For A, it's the author you've read the most books from. So for me, it has to be J.K. Rowling, just because I've obviously read Harry Potter, Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, Casual Vacancy, and also the Cormoran Strike series that she wrote under the pseudonym Robert Galbraith. So I've read lots of her books, and at the moment I don't think anyone could beat that, and especially with more Cormoran Strike novels coming out, I just cannot wait to carry on reading her work. She's a pretty amazing author who can do lots of different genres. I've seen her do crime, contemporary and obviously kids fantasy, so I can't wait to see what she does next. B is for best sequel ever, so for this I'm going to go for A Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah J Maas. So this is the second book in the Court of Thorns and Roses series, and the first book was a bit slow, it was setting everything up, but Court of Mist and Fury is probably one of my favourite books ever. It just introduces you to a whole new side of the kingdom, and you've got Rhys and the Inner Circle, who are some of my favourite characters in the whole of my reading, just because they are so good. You've got such a variety, and I just love this book so much. It's probably my best sequel, hence why I'm mentioning it. C is currently reading, and that is by Gaslight by Stephen Price. So I've only just started reading this and I am finding it to be a bit slow. It's very weird as it doesn't use speech marks, and I'm trying to figure out why he doesn't use them, because it's thrown me off a bit. And I think it's just taken it a while to get into. It's about a murder, and you've got a detective and someone who knows the victim, and I believe they probably come together and try and solve this murder. It's set in Victorian times, so it's a great historic fiction, and it is quite thick, 700 pages, but I'm going to give it a good go. D is your drink of choice while you're reading. For me it's normally tea. E is for e-reader or physical book. I like my physical books just because you can display them. I know e-readers, you can fit lots of books in them and it doesn't take up as much space, but I just like to be able to show people what I've read on my bookcases. F is fictional character you probably would have dated in high school. So for this I'm going to go with Wade from Ready Player One by Ernest Cline, just because he seems to be my kind of person. He's a bit geeky, and I think we would probably just geek out. He can teach me more about 80s stuff and I can teach him more about the modern kind of stuff. But yeah, I think it'd be really cool just reading and gaming. That would be awesome. G is glad you gave this book a chance, and for this I'm going to go for Strange the Dreamer by Lani Taylor. So I wasn't originally going to read this, but it came in one of my Fairy Loot boxes when it was released, and it was very slow, but I'm glad I kind of got through it, because in the end it was a really good book, probably one of my favourite reads of last year, and I cannot wait for the sequel. But it's just setting up the whole world. I think that took quite a lot of time, but once she did it, it was just amazing. H is Hidden Gem book, and for this I'm going to go with The Muse by Jessie Burton. I've mentioned this a lot recently, so I'm not going to go into it in too much detail, but this is a historic fiction that I love. I love Jessie Burton, and it's basically based around a painting and the mystery of it, people in the future trying to decide what it means, but then you get to go in the past and you find out how the painting came to be and its actual meaning. There's lots of twists and turns and I just love it, and I don't see it mentioned enough on BookTube, and I want people to read this because it is amazing, and the cover as well, it's just so pretty. I is important moment in your reading life, so for me that's probably picking up Harry Potter. It's one of the things that basically made my childhood. I've always been into reading, so when I was younger I read Roald Dahl, I loved Matilda, the Witches especially, and I also read Jacqueline Wilson as well before reading Harry Potter. Jacqueline Wilson was such a huge bit of my childhood as well. Tracy Beaker, The Dare Game, Double Act. Some of them are some of my favourite childhood books, but I don't read them as often. But Harry Potter was definitely a huge part. That's what probably got me properly into reading, and I stuck with that for ages, so yeah. J is just finished, and that's Wolf by Ryan Gradin. So I've been meaning to read this for ages and I finally picked it up and I loved it. It's an alternate history where Hitler basically won the Second World War, and it's just amazing. It wasn't what I thought it'd be, but It's just so good. You really have to give this a go if you like history, and especially if you are interested in the Nazis, because this shows what the world probably would have been like if he had one. K is kinds of books you don't want to read, and for me that's probably erotic fiction. I am really not into 50 Shades of Grey and stuff like that. I know people are into different types of things, and I can't say anything bad about those reading it, because people who read erotic fiction might not like fantasy, might think I'm a bit weird for reading fantasy, but for me I just don't really want to read them. I am a bit awkward when it comes to, you know, reading about sex generally, so reading a whole book about it, that probably isn't my kind of thing, and I think you could probably use a bit more imagination reading fantasy or stuff like that. So yeah, erotic fiction isn't for me. L is for longest book you've read, and for me that's probably Les Miserables. I read that a while ago. I got rid of my edition of my book, which I really regret. I did like it. It's really good to have actually read it and say I read the book. It was a bit boring, some bits had you hooked, so yeah, if you do like the musical and you do like your historic fiction, Les Mis is definitely right for you, but I know some people probably won't be that interested and would probably be quite intimidated by the size of it. M is Last Major Book Hangover, and for me that probably has to be for A Court of Wings and Ruin by Sarah J Maas, the third book in the Court of Thorns and Roses series, just because it did kill me. I was just so excited for this book. I was hooked, I read it so fast, and just certain bits in the ending just had me like, oh my god. I stayed up late reading it and I just loved it so much, and I'm not going to go into it in too much detail because this video is looking to be really long, but yeah, I had a major book hangover from this book. N is for number of bookcases you have, so I've just got 3. I've got 2 big ones and 1 small one. O is for one book you have read multiple times. The one I've probably read the most is Dracula by Bram Stoker. Last few years I've read it on every Halloween, so I've probably only read this twice actually, because I didn't read it last Halloween. Last Halloween I read The Picture of Dorian Gray, but I am planning on reading it this year as well, just because I do love it. It's my favourite classic and I just want to get in the habit of reading it every Halloween. P is preferred place to read, and for me that is definitely my bed. That's where I'm the most comfiest. I can just cuddle up with my duvet and pillows and maybe Pluto as well. So yeah, my bed. Q is a quote that inspires you. For me, that is probably happiness can be found in even the darkest of times if one remembers to turn on the light. That's from Professor Dumbledore from Harry Potter. I can't remember what book it's from or whether it is from a book. I don't know if it's just from the film. I'm pretty sure it's from the Prisoner of Azkaban film, but I'm not 100% sure it's in the book, so I should have checked that. But that's probably one of the most important quotes that I know. Is one that I really like. R is reading regret, and for that I'm not 100% sure. I don't have any regrets reading wise. S is a series you've started and you need to finish, so for me I'm probably going for the Plantagenet and Tudor novels by Philippa Gregory. As you know, I'm rereading The Cousins' War side because I've read that bit, but I still need to finish it and read the Tudor sides. So I've read The Lady of the Rivers, The White Queen. This month I'm going to read The Red Queen, so I've got quite a few more books to go. There's like 14 books, so this will be fun. T is 3 of your all-time favourite books. So I've already mentioned Dracula by Bram Stoker. This is my favourite classic, so this definitely needs a mention. Then I'm going to mention A Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah J Maas, just because again it's my favourite sequel. It's a book that introduced me to lots of my favourite characters, and I am really going to miss this series when it's over, so I definitely have to mention this. And I don't want to mention Harry Potter because that's going to be obvious, so instead I'm going to mention Wicked by Gregory Maguire, just because this and its musicals have really inspired me and helped me. I just love it. If you love your Wizard of Oz and if you love your witches, I would definitely pick this up because it's not what you think it is. It's just totally different. If you've seen the musical, it's a lot different from the musical as well, but it is definitely worth a read. V is very excited for this release more than others, so I have to go for A Court of Frost and Starlight. That's the novella that links onto A Court of Thorns and Roses series, and it links it to a new series that Sarah J Maas is doing. I believe it's the last book that is told from fairies side of things, so it's going to be sad because we might not see any of these characters again. W is worst bookish habit. So for me this is probably just buying books when I have too many to read already. I am doing alright at the moment. I think my TBR is slowly going down, but I'm tending to be buying books a lot more regularly now because I'm pre-ordering them and I am wanting hardback. So as soon as a book comes out that I want, I tend to go get it because I want the hardback edition. I don't want that to go out of stock and then the paperback comes out because then I can't get that hardback anymore. So yeah, I need to stop doing that, but I just want to get the pretty hardback editions before they go. Why is your latest book purchase? So my last book purchases, I got 2 books on the same day just because I had some book vouchers at Waterstones that I needed to spend. So I got Mythos by Stephen Fry. This has been on my radar for a while. Stephen Fry, you know, is a British national treasure. He presents QI, he's done all sorts. He is amazing. I have never read any of his books, but this one caught my eye because this is a retelling of the Greek myths. So I am just so interested to see Stephen Fry's take on this, and also I just love the cover as well. So this is one that I'm definitely wanting to read soon. I think March is probably going to be an historic fiction month for me, so I just want to get this read because it looks like it's going to be pretty awesome, and I can't wait to see Stephen Fry's writing style. And then on the same day I got The Tattooist of Auschwitz by Heather Morris. So this caught my eye because I believe this is based on a true person, Leil Sokolov. I think that's pronounced right, I'm so sorry if it's not. He was a tattooist who tattooed all the people in the concentration camps. So I think this will be really interesting. I believe the guy was a Jew himself. For him to have to do this would have been totally torturous, but I can't wait to read this and learn more about it because this year, along with wanting to read more historic fiction, I am wanting to read more historic fiction that's probably based on real life. So this is definitely going to be amazing, and I'm just so interested in stuff like this, so I definitely needed this. And Z is for a Z Snatcher book, so that's the last book that kept you up way too late. So for this I have to go with The Quill Prince by Holly Black, and this only kept me up late because it was so bad I just wanted to finish it and move on. So this is why I stayed up late to read it. It's not a good reason why I stayed up late, it's a bad reason because I hated this book, and I will link the reason why down below. So that's a very long video for me. I started rushing it along because I don't want you guys to fall asleep. So I will see you later with a new video. Bye!